Principal Garreau in the house.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for being here. I thought of you, I just was in Kareem's session, and he's a restorative, does a lot of restorative work. So,
Cool.
yeah.
That's great.
So when I'm sharing my screen, you don't see the participants, do you?
They can decide how many and where they see them. So usually I just put the participants on my screen on the bottom so that I can see the whole slide.
Okay, okay.
Unless they're using two screens, and then that's even better.
Yay, so Amanda, just at 10:15, we'll just jump right in?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm blinded by the sun. I haven't seen it in such a long time.
Yeah, if I weren't here too, I would wonder if you're actually in Juneau, Alaska. But,
oh, geez, Bob, you're here. It's just saying this is definitely a home crowd here to support us. So, geez, and what a great conference you've put together. It's been wonderful.
Well, thank you. And last 2 years, you've been an integral part of it. So thank you very much for your commitment and for your public service, and very, very excited for your presentation.
Well, we're really honored to be here today. And so I'll just get started because we'd like to open with song.
Wooch.een. Wooch.een, Wooch.een, yetzakachtune, yetzakachtune. Wooch.een, Wooch.een, yetzakachtune, yetzakachtune. Wooch.een, Wooch.een, yetzakachtune, yetzakachtune. Wooch.een,
Yay. And George Holly Yogatsi is here today. Ganesh for sharing this song, and we will later, just at the start after our agenda, Nae will talk about Kingesti and how much of a role he has played in this program. We thought we'd start with that. One, it's just a culturally sustaining practice to open with music here on Chingarani, and Wooch.een is definitely the theme of this session today about working together. And so I'll let Nae start off with the introductions.
Achlich klein city nach shahe chitach banachu kwana uhan je achtuase gu akwan in kachwanigi tlachwasa ganilchish akwani anikak gikja adedki ik tulkuch tlachwasa ganilchish. My name is Nae. My Tlingit name is Khianwadaqa. My great grandma's my namesake, and we're from Qanahu. I wanted to give much appreciation to the Akwan, whose land we teach on, this Gikja and Ha'achi, our music. And it's just a beautiful day today. It's always beautiful, even when it's stormy. It was pouring down the other day and it was still magical to me. So I love it around here. I'm a parent. My daughter was a part of the jam program and learned the Gikja from Dr. Heagy last year via Zoom. Well, it was part of the Hakustiyi program, and it's just been a really amazing thing. And now I'm a part of this program through Gold Belt Heritage Foundation to support in language.
Ganashtish, Gach Ansan, Yuchet Duasak, Kix Adi Ayachet, Sayek, and Siti Tisha Nach, Ye Jichane. I'm Lorri Heagy. I was adopted into the Kiksadi clan by Ray Wilson, who is the clan leader, and for the work that I've done with music and culture, and I'm the caretaker of his sister's name, Gach Ansan. And I'm here, live in Douglas, but I'm here from Glacier Valley, Siti Tishanach today. And I just want to mention there's many people in the room. I mean, Nae and I are presenting, but there's 17 people on this team, which is why we've called this Wooch.een together. And so thank you for sharing who you are, but also if you're here as a member of the team, please put that in the chat and let folks know what role you play, because without this team, this would not be happening. And Juneau Alaska Music Matters is a El Sistema-inspired program that started 12 years ago to use music for social change. We teach music at the K1 because we know that music, especially at an early age, creates a very sound foundation for life. There's just so much about what music does for the brain, social-emotional skills. And so when we learned about the linguistic emergency that's going on in Juneau and Southeast, that there are only 30 fluent speakers, and after talking to René Lance Twitchell, he thinks that number has decreased even more. We made a decision that jam is about social change, and there's a need in our community where we can hopefully help reverse that by working within the schools, but doing it Wooch.een with community organizations, parents, university, and the school district. So what we'll do today is we're going to share a lot of our kids. We have videos. We want to make sure you get to have a peek into the classroom, and just to give you an idea of how we all came together. So I'll open. This is the agenda. We'll talk about our inspiration and rationale, the team and how we are building trust, our model and approach, and then our successes and challenges with hopes for Q&A, or Amanda's going to help just look at the chat if you have questions along the way. This is just a quick overview of the Hatuyeyati. It is inside us.
Today, there's all kinds of challenging stuff ahead of us. All type of challenging things, such as humanity maybe has never seen in all that time. But we do have the intelligence. It's in us. There was a phrase that I used for several years. It's now taking on, and that phrase, Hatuyeyati. Ituyeyati. De ituch jildua nakti at waskubu. Ituch jildua nakti at waskubu. Iyakuske ituch jildua nak. The ancient teachers would say this: your intelligence, your knowledge has already been released in you.
Tlingit language has been spoken in Southeast Alaska for thousands of years, yet today there are less than 40 fluent speakers left, so there's an urgency to teach young people. For that reason, Juneau Alaska Music Matters, JAM, is piloting a program in partnership with Tlingit elders, speakers, scholars, and musicians. This pilot program will incorporate Tlingit language revitalization into our kindergarten through second grade violin classes.
So they'll learn a second language while they're focused on the physical actions that they're doing. And the age is perfect for this. Kindergarten, they don't know they're learning a second language. It's just part of what they are hearing while they're doing the physical activities.
So before I pass it over to Nae, this is some of the pieces that really are the foundation of our work and the inspiration behind it. Tribal values and oral narratives are key to what we do and how we think and approach our work. And we also want to acknowledge other folks around the world that are doing this important work of revitalization, and how our Hawaiian neighbors have given us some models about how we can move forward with a language medium school model. And then our university here in Juneau has Alaska Native Studies program, and many of us are taking courses that have helped shape the way we think, and also to be involved in a cohort that is providing a different perspective for teachers on the way that they can be integrating and sustaining cultural values and language. And then, of course, the power of music we'll share a little bit more of that. I'm going to pass it on to Nae, who is going to talk a little bit more about these foundational pieces before we show a video of Jinkasi Rose Willard showing how we take these tribal values and immediately put it in and integrate it into our work.
So education to Tlingit people is the foundation of who we are. When I was growing up, my grandfather helped raise me, on my mom's side, and he would always tell us that education was important. And I unfortunately didn't grow up in a household where they said, go to college, that's the path you should take. But I did grow up in a household where my grandpa told me education is important. You learn every single day. You are continuously learning. And I'm really thankful that he shared that with me, because I do look for an opportunity to learn everywhere that I go. Later on in life, as an adult, King Sti, he's been talking about the Tlingit educational system, and he calls them our 4 house posts. And the first time that I'd ever seen King Sti, I grew up in Anchorage, actually. I didn't grow up in Juneau. But he was one of the first folks I remember speaking Tlingit at a young age, and he came up and he was shouting from this, he was standing on this little hill and he was saying, Tlingit awewe, you are a human being. And he would say these things. That's the first one. You are to listen. And when he talks, it breaks down these 4 house posts. He's talking about, when he talks about this, he says, you need to be still. And his, he was talking about how when you're out for Gulukan, if you're out going deer hunting, if you're being loud and crazy, the deer are going to get scared away. And he used that as a metaphor to tell us that we should be still, and we should be still in our mind, in our body, in our spirit, so that we can take in this information that we're trying to learn. And I just really love that. You have to be still. Don't disrupt your peace, and it'll help you, learn. Tlingit awewe, the second one, you are intelligent. When I had my first child, Adea is her name, she learned music through Hakusti, and then the Gekja through the JAM program. Kakatla was one of my first language teachers, and she knew I was pregnant, and she said, you need to talk to that baby. She was telling me in Tlingit, you talk to that baby and you tell her that she's intelligent every single day, because that's how our people are. We tell each other and love each other and hold each other up. And she said to do that every single day, and you keep speaking Tlingit to that baby, so she's always going to know it. And she knows it. She corrects me all the time, and so it's just she definitely heard me when I was telling her Yaqi Tagay. The third one is you will respect all things. When King Gacy talked about this, one of my favorite things is that he said, you have to respect yourself first so that you can respect other things. And for Tlingit people, we believe everything has a spirit. And so we respect all of the things around us. And it's one of our, of course, one of our top, morals as a Tlingit people. But he said, it's interesting that it came down later, but really you have to kind of silence yourself so that you can learn to respect yourself, and you learn to learn is what he said. And I love that. The last one, we are going to work together. What I've learned, I've been learning Tlingit for about 13 years now, and King Gacy was one of the first elders that I sat with, and he would say all of these amazing kind things all the time that made me feel like it was entirely possible to learn our language, which is it's a very difficult language to learn. But what I learned throughout that entire process is that we have to work together to do it. A language is meant to be spoken, and I could learn the whole language if I wanted to, but if I don't have anybody to speak it to, then what good is it? And so that was one of the first things I learned early on in my language learning journey, and I've loved seeing it being implemented throughout this entire program. Everybody has to work together. We all rely on each other. I don't know how to play the violin. I don't know how to do anything musical necessarily. I can sing a song once in a while, but I don't have that to give to the children, but I can give language to the best of my ability. And so we really do rely on each other. And I really love this part of our culture. We have a clan system that makes us make sure we stay balanced and we reciprocate. And so nobody ever falls. My grandpa used to say, if you eat too many Doritos, you're going to fall over, because he was trying to tell me I was imbalanced. I ate all the Doritos anyway. I did fall over.
Nae. We're hoping that you will see these pillars embedded throughout our presentation. And we started with Wooch.een, and now you'll see Jinkasi bring this into the classroom. We're reaching 150 students at City Tishanach, and I want to say Gnalchish to Lucy Potter, our principal, for supporting this, along with the kinder first grade teachers who join our JAM staff, and Nae and Kuchik, Robbie Littlefield, who are language scholars, who are just like these guardian angels on our shoulders. You'll get to see that they're streaming in, but they're just a part of the classroom because the kids are used to Zoom. We've even talked about each string. There's 4 dak'un strings, or tick, on the gichja, and how each one of those strings could represent one of these pillars and house posts. So here's a video of Jinkasi sharing the history, because it's just as important as the song, if not more so, to share the history and where this song comes from.
The song we're going to sing today is called Wooch.een, and it was composed by David Katzig, and his Tlingit name is Kringleiste. Can you see that? Kringleiste. He is Thunderbird Shamdu Heidi. He's from the Heej pit. He's also from the Yan Wushi Hashi pit. Can you see that? Yan Wushi Hashi pit. The house lowered from the sun, and the Thunderbird house. And the words are, repeat after me, Wooch.een. Yejigach today. And it means we will work together. It is important to give recognition to the person who composed the song, their Tlingit name, the clan they belong to, and their house. So I'll have everybody And the way we're going to be representing how we work together is through harvesting. During the summer months, we are berry pickers, so if you have your you are going to be representing your picking your berries. Yes, blueberries. During the summer months, we're picking cut up. We're reaching way out, we're putting our cut up in our our space in front, that's right in front of us. And each blueberry is important because these are not just food for us, but it's for our families, our friends, our guests, our relatives. And in the summer months, where the salmon are coming up stream, the cod, and our men are fishing for it. So show me your spears, you're getting down low, and you always stay down low or start to show me the way. So if you have a spear in your hand, you're watching for the salmon, and when you hear that beat, you spear salmon, and you pour on the shore. You spear in the river, and you pour on the shore. That's the famous thing, and that is the way you do it.
Is it inside us? Yes, it is inside us. So we changed how we bow to recognize this, that it is inside you. And this piece of Dekik Wooch.een is so much about how we're building trust among so many partners. The oral narrative of the Asquan tree people, when I read this oral narrative, this Tlingit oral narrative, it talked about how there was an avalanche and all the trees were knocked down except for one on the top. And that tree would call down and say, is there anyone down there? And would call down every day, is there anyone there? And finally a little voice called up and said, yes, I'm here. And the tree below asked, what happened? And the tree at the top said, it's because we forgot to work together, to Dekik Wooch.een. We have to intertwine and remember to work together to hold each other up. And so when we were building this program, we knew that this has to be the foundation, because if we don't work together, there's no way we can make systemic change and also be sure that we are holding each other accountable to truly embody cultural values and culturally sustaining pedagogy. So this tree metaphor comes through in everything that we do. I do want to acknowledge the Hawaiian immersion program. They had a flower as theirs, and as we kept adding partners, I went, oh, we actually do have a flower, and I put the forget-me-not in the middle for our students because it is very much intertwined. We have elders, we have a composer, George Hawley, who is creating new music to show that, like all cultures, it's dynamic, it grows, it changes. We have teaching artists from our Juneau Alaska Music Matters program who are learning the language and then including that in the after-school programs at 3 of our schools. That means it's not just 150 kids, but 600 between the 3 schools where children have the opportunity to hear this language and this approach. And the fact that we have kinder and first grade teachers joining in, they can spread it into their classroom. And as the music teacher, I see all of the kids. So the university staff and Nae from Gold Belt and Dashla Ja, Fred White, or Gunak, as he's also his other name, all join in to make sure that we are supported. And I'm going to quickly go over this. I'll just let you read it because I've touched on it. But taking part of Hune's Indigenous Instructional Strategies class, he did share how Hawaii seemed to change it around. They had 100 speakers and now there are thousands, and it was because of their immersion in medium schools. And yet we couldn't seem to break through here in Juneau. And he said one of the arguments is that somebody will say, well, how are you going to teach Tlingit chemistry? There's no terms for that. And he said, well, we come up with new names all the time. Unfriend for Facebook, like we can call on elders and we can talk together to create new words. And so when I was thinking, how can I be one to support this work, I went, wow, well, we have kindergarten and first graders all get 90 minutes of violin as a school readiness program. Why not try to teach it through Tlingit and work on creating new language so that we are showing that any topic can be taught in the language and that it actually enriches and deepens the work that we do. You'll notice that there's all kinds of other reasons why this made a perfect fit to be working together. Music does so much, not only for language support, but also it is highly valued in the Tlingit culture, and the opportunity for collective impact, as I mentioned, is very strong. So just to keep pushing because of time, we do want to share with you our model. And so Nae, just jump in at any point if there's something that needs to be addressed. But this is our model and approach. Team teaching at the core, classroom teacher with music teacher, language coach, and violin instructor. And that there's a partnership among the community, school, and family. And because we have online resources, families can access all of our work so that language is not just spoken here. And the fact that it's put in song, you'll remember it. So kids are singing it in the halls, they're singing it at home. And so even though it's only 90 minutes during the day, we know that because we're using story and music, it's carrying into other realms, which is our whole point in doing so.
I also just want to point out that that is very culturally appropriate for Tlingit people, because music has been very important to Tlingit people since time immemorial, as they say. And we teach through music our history, our stories, and music is going to carry out for years and years and years. My clan has a song that we brought out of Wooch.een, which was our first village over 200 years ago, and we still have it because that's the power of music. And so it's been very important for Tlingit people. And so the partnership between Tlingit language and music has just, to me, made the most sense I've ever, ever to me. And I just wanted to add that.
So we're going to get to just some images of this is a way to set their bodies going in, and it's Hagach Letzini, let us be strong. So that tree metaphor comes through in everything, and honoring the Asquani oral narrative of the tree and Dikikuch Garshat. And you can tell that they take this ritual very seriously. And they might jump in with more, so feel free, Nae.
I do want to add that I don't get to see this part of the class because I'm inside virtually. And so this is the first time I saw this, it made so much sense to me. Because for Tlingit people, when we're invited to a community, we will sing songs outside and we'll ready our bodies. And when I saw them taking it so seriously, it was so beautiful. They fully understand what they're doing without even being instructed to do so. They're preparing themselves to greet a new space, and their jaw. And when they come in like this and they're on point, that's how Tlingit folks are. We do an outside song, we do an incoming song, and this is how we set the tone for who we're going to be while we're in that space.
So here we are with Gusu Gushki, and I want to say Gunshchish to Kushiek Robbie Littlefield, who works on the Tlingit language program for UAS. And so here's Where's Thumpkin, Gusu Gushki, and we're teaching them the names of their fingers, but we also thought, well, we can build their muscles at the same time for holding the Gekja. And this is an example of how the kids are telling me that they're ready for more. So we were just decided, we can also teach them feeling phrases so that they can use this outside. And so they're telling me they're ready for more. And then you'll also see how the language coach Nae will be there on my shoulder helping to make sure we're learning the language correctly. Yeah, because at that point, they both had the same feelings. And they're saying hi to Nae.
Excited. Put our arms down and ask Nae what excited me. I'm excited. I'm asking my teacher how to say I'm excited because I don't even know. So I'm learning with you. So we'll get back to you. Isn't that exciting? Exciting, Isaac, that we're learning together and that we have so many people who working together.
So I'm going to keep pushing because we do want to make sure you get to see what it looks like in the classroom. And so that tree metaphor, now they've warmed up their arms and we're getting them ready for a paper gichja. And so instead of saying, okay, well, mouse house and all these Suzuki phrases that are used to help them, why not find a place-based story connected to the forest? And the fact that in the Asquani story, such gratitude, right, Nae, to the trees and the fact that they give so much to what we do. And the gichja comes from the wood. And how can we bring that into our classroom? So what you'll see is a story that Meg Rossin put together, and you'll hear another song that George Holly wrote about giving gratitude to the Asquani, the tree people, for their sacrifice in giving us their wood and that respect that we show. And this is a song that kids could sing in the forest too when they're hiking. So I hope you can see that what we're doing is, as they're walking, they're looking up, and that's supposed to be them holding up their violin, getting ready to place it down onto their shoulder, and that we're treating it like a nest with eagle eggs, that they're just going to gently put their jaw down so it doesn't crush the eggs. And then we'll quietly hold it while George sings this song. And then you'll get to see, hopefully, some other comparisons of a seal that sticks its head out of the water, and that's where your thumb is on a fingerboard, or a salmon's really fluid arm, and that's how they hold it. So hopefully you'll get to see those connections. And this is Nae, Lance Twitchell, who helps with all of our translation.
Asqani ahtawassaku shuk'anakh taqahtani Yashi Yan Shach Chai Sheikh Chuya Singit Hasati Aya Sa Achideo Tushte A
Hasduya how to digach Chade ye hanai Islis kuhas kahaslis kuhas Mujin has nas digil Adacha senach has wushich Ayuha tang layechi Kuchdeke nasa Ayuha tangi Ach kukye ke nasa
Askatuyach Hayati Akachshatsine Ujinye Jagachtune Kinde Anishkain As Yikte Dasa Iyatin Chag Kudi Tuatin Chag Kudi Aya Khashtagenach Kod Khach Kanu Shtakat at Ajich Tuti at Ya Awane Seed Kanach Anashkain Dasa Iya Ach Sa Wutua Ach Yende Yanas Ain We Sa At Yas Ain In Yanakak Khad Waitatsi at Dakashe As to Khait Katisa Ach At Shehad Tu Yeti
And so the next step is starting to play the violin of the gekhja, but right now they're just using paper gekhjas. And here's an example of what that looks like. We're just now letting George's Yukitsi's song wash over them. And this is Carly Lanehart. This is the kindergarten class with Meg Rawson. We have a little kagan mouse, but if they can keep their violin straight, they can visit. I'll give him a little kiss. And just as they have a waiting and entrance song, they have an exit song.
I just want to say that the exit song is just as important as an incoming song for Tlingit folks, because on an incoming song, we're setting the stage for how we're going to behave in this space and what we're going to do, how we're going to treat the people who are around us. And as we're exiting, we're saying, "Ganachish, thank you for having us." And an exit is just as important.
Ganachish. So
I also just want to note that all of this happened as they were doing it. After the first class that I sat in on, I said, "Dr. Heagy, did you guys mean to do this?" And it wasn't an intentional thing. They just happened to start doing these incoming songs and these exit songs. And I said, "This is so important. I love this." And one of my favorite things about the program is how it's so based in Tlingit knowledge versus being based in like Western standard education, right? And we have to like kind of conform. Somehow the two just kind of like meet together somewhere, and we just have been making this beautiful thing. I've been having a really great time.
Sheesh. Yeah, we want to end with our children's voices because we're modeling for them what it's going to take. It's Wooch.een, it's the Kik Wooch Gaishashat. It's going to take all of us. And we're hearing great comments from home about how it's trickling into the home and that it's being embraced by everyone. So our hope is that we can continue this. And the website, as you can see, we're so fortunate to have Nae joining us, and we know that there is a desperate need for language teachers. So we're thrilled that UAS has a language certificate program, and we hope that the working together. Sometimes we're putting it out publicly because we're hoping that other organizations who are doing this work, we can all, instead of trying to replicate, actually are filling the gaps where there might not be something created. And yet we're still working on that kind of cooperation. And then just learning while teaching. My brain is exhausted learning the language and teaching. But that's the reality of all language teachers who are being placed in the classrooms. They're learning as they're teaching. And we're hoping, like what happens after K1? How do we make sure that this language, and our hope is that we can have language teachers at every elementary level, not just starting at middle school, but in the elementary where you can actually hope for fluency because they are starting so young. And it's hard for us to keep up with the kids because they just soak it up and they're pronouncing so well. Our success is doing our homework. I mean, a quick point is that we have cultural specialists at all of our schools, but they should not be the sole folks. That's a huge responsibility to try to do that. And so I started taking a Tlingit class, and I also, looked at the school district's strategic plan to let them know that this is work that they're interested in. But I also looked at all of the Native organizations to find out what work they were doing so that we are filling a gap and a need rather than creating something that's already out there. And our website is open, and I know that Amanda will show this to you, but everything has been vetted. So you can go here just to learn about all of the partners and the work we're doing, but we also have songs, violin tutorials, weekly updates, and then the Hawk Christie pilot that we worked on last year. I see that it's 10:58, so Nae, is it okay if I make sure that our voices, and then I haven't had a chance to look at the comments, but our children are our future in so many ways, including the Tlingit language, and this is what some of our first graders wanted to share.
Hello, my name is Jessie, and how you say violin is gihja. Click, take, nuts, gagung, cajun, clay, the shook, that's the shook, nuts the shook, the shook, jinkai. My name is Isaac, and why I like Tlingit is because I like to learn new violin parts in Tlingit. My name is Lyndon. I like this because I like the sounds we make, and I really like that songs. My name is Mia, and I like learning Tlingit because I love it. My name is Solani, and I like Tlingit because I was born learning the Tlingit language. Hi, my name is Juniper, and I like Tlingit because I'm learning how to count to 10 in Tlingit. I like Tlingit because I'm learning a new language.
Hatuyeyeti. They're already showing it. And so Gunesh Cheesh for joining us today. You have our emails and all of the resources. Gunesh Cheesh to all that are part of our team and for being here today. And I see that it's 11 o'clock.
Thank you so much. I did put the link to the presentation in the chat for everyone, and we thank you all for the work that you're doing. We know it's early this morning for you guys, way out west. It's 2 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone, so I hope everyone has enjoyed the conference today. Thank you so much.
Gunesh Cheesh.